Shamar,
What's going on YouTube?
Washington.
This is Party for here once again. Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is your boy Jamar 4 here once again. I finally got a chance to take a gander at the past episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta. This weekend I was kind of all over the place, so I finally got a chance to sit down, watch it, so we can record this recap. Now, this is actually not going to be very long, I feel, because I don't have much written here to discuss. There were just some little key points that I feel like I could maybe elaborate on, because the episode was kind of like a filler or like a setup for maybe the next one. So we're going to go ahead and get started on some, some different things we want to discuss. So first, I can give shout out to both Portia and Phaedra for attending, the DNC and, being out there to support for the, multiple unarmed black men who have been slain throughout the year of 2016 alone. They were meeting with the Congresswoman of Florida, and they were discussing different foundations that they wanted to start up and support, for that specific cause. And, mothers like, well, I'm gonna tie her in here. I might as well go ahead and throw her in here while we're talking about it. Mothers like Sheree and Phaedra, always feel more affected by causes like this because they realize, it hits home, like, I have my own sons, and this very thing could happen to them as well, Let's move this out the way. And so she was having a discussion, or Sheree was having a discussion with her son because he had a DUI and was smoking weed and this, that, and the fourth. And she mentioned that, all through, his childhood and growing up, he had no, dealings with the police. He didn't showcase the kind of behavior before. And so when he started to do all this, she's getting a call from jail. It's like she gets frustrated and she gets worried, like, that, people like just like you, right in your age group, are being slain by the police for no real good reason. And a lot of these mothers and these kids thought that it would never happen to them. But one thing about it, anything can happen to anyone, no matter what the cause is. Just know that anything can happen to anyone. So she wants to say that you just have to try to make sure to do your best to make the best decisions for your life so that you don't end up as a hashtag or as somebody who's going to be on the news for an unarmed killing again. And so, and even though they were going in that direction, and I'm going to switch from, Apollo, not Apollo, but Phaedra and Portia and their events over to Sheree. Sheree was trying to say, like, well, yes, I'm having this conversation with him about how his Black Lives Matter and, the different types of dangers that he faces as a black man in today's society. I can't really teach him how to properly be a man because that's supposed to be his father's job. And so she tries to bring, Bob, sit down with Bob even to discuss the dangers of marijuana smoking and, how different decisions can land different consequences. And it seemed like at first Bob was going somewhere. But then he kind of ventured left field a little bit because he was like, when I left, what did he say? Did he say the NFL? I forget where it was. He said that he left his place of business. He left there and, all the other players were dealing with all types of pains and taking opioids. He was like, I just got my medical license. And, sometimes marijuana is, therapeutic or, medicinal. And Saree's looking like, wait, your argument isn't necessarily the kind of argument I was expecting you to make because you're almost like excusing it a little bit. But then he kind of, came back full circle and was like, but all around just like a smokeout session just with no purpose is not something that I'm going to condone. And I was like, okay, now you're getting somewhere. Because at first it was like he was about to be one of them parents that was like, weed ain't all that bad. So, that's where I thought he was about to go with it. But he was just saying that I guess there are medicinal purposes for weed, but that's not really the argument that you want to include because it's almost like it's kind of okay, but not. So it's kind of a mixed signal type of discussion. But I guess give him credit where credit is due. So now that I've gotten, them majority out the way, we get to with Cynthia and Kenya. They're at this little cake crafting shop and whatnot. And Kenya wants to make a Gucci cake for Matt because I guess he lost his Gucci belt, and she wants to give him a themed cake, and she's gonna buy him a new one. So I'm like, okay, that sounds like a great idea for his birthday. And while they're at this crafting class, she mentions that she wants to put together like a couple event uh, with her and Matt, Candy and Todd, and then some Candy's friends and her fiance. And Cynthia was like, "Oh, well, I wish I could have come," but it's just like, "Well, I didn't want you to come and be sad because you're not really a couple." And I wanted to mention like when you, it is no fun when you're the only single person amongst a circle group of people who are all coupled up in relationships. Mind you, the couples that are on Real Housewives of Atlanta are about as solid as a thin piece of ice. But they're still, I guess, couples nonetheless. And Cynthia kind of feels like, well, when you suddenly become single, now you may not be necessarily invited to as much stuff because nobody wants to. It's not really shady towards you, but nobody wants to be insensitive to you not being able to participate in couple-related activities. So it's a very shaky and uncomfortable situation for everybody involved. But she was like, well, I'll just. What did she say? I forgot what it was that she said. When she was talking about her house, because she was feeling a way about her invitation getting lost in the mail in regards to Kenya's event. But as she was looking for her little houses or whatever, she was like, "Who needs a man? All I need is my bedrooms and batteries for my bedroom candy." I'm like, Cynthia, sis, girl. I understand because society makes it seem like if you don't have a relationship, you're not like a person. Like there's something wrong with you if you're not in a relationship. And shit, sometimes people just need that time to themselves, or they're just not in a mental space to handle the responsibilities and effort that goes into making a relationship work. So when somebody's just now leaving a relationship, they don't need to be involved and bringing all that baggage into any other new relationships. And it just sucks that she's leaving a relationship at a time where everybody else is kind of trying to get into one. So they're kind of creating all these activities and these atmospheres where it's kind of awkward for Cynthia. So, but bless her heart. But she's trying to get this new house, so at least she has something good to look forward to. Now, and back in reference to Kenya, she was discussing, and Cynthia called her, and she was talking about how, I guess her and Matt had a dispute. And, wanted to figure out, okay, well, what was the dispute about? She said that she posted for Throwback Thursday a picture of her in an old Jay-Z video from way back when. And it seems innocent enough. It's not like, clearly she's not sleeping with Jay-Z, clearly. Could you imagine Kenya Moore? Could you imagine Jay-Z cheating on Beyonce with Kenya Moore? Can you imagine that headline? That seems like something that would be straight out of TMZ. But anyway, I guess Matt got upset that she posted herself with another man, even though it was probably like 20 years ago. And she just said it so casual, like, oh, he is mad, knocking stuff over, punching through walls, and, probably high jump kicking me in the back of the head. It's no problem. He's just, he gets so immature sometimes. I'm like, Kenya, sis, if he's exhibiting this kind of behavior with something as petty as an Instagram picture from centuries ago about a man who's clearly, well, you know what, we're not even going to go there with Jay-Z's relationship because nobody knows. But clearly, Kenya Moore has nothing to do with Jay-Z. And what is the argument here? That he's posting with another man? I mean, it's not like this is some unknown man. You know who this man is, and clearly they're not involved. So, knocking stuff over and punching walls? Nah, that's somebody who's a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And I don't think you need to be associated with that because you kind of cuckoo as well. So, the both of y'all together, don't spell out anything nice, okay? If he's exhibiting this kind of violent behavior, Matt is big, okay? Matt could probably put some hurting on Kenya, okay, if she lets him. So, Kenya, I know that you done fished for a man for years and you finally done looked up and got you somebody, who has the proper appendage, but this, no, this is not, it ain't even worth it, boo. I don't, if he, especially since this is not his first offense, of exhibiting this type of behavior, as you mentioned before. So I don't. I know you don't want to leave him. I know you didn't enjoy his family and you done gotten this far, but I I don't think this is worth it, baby. I don't think you may regret this if you want to keep this going. And it looks like next episode they have this fallout. So I just hope that she lets him go because as good as Matt might look, ain't nobody got time to be dealing with somebody who's gonna be trying to do knock holes and knock stuff over because I posted an Instagram picture with somebody that I'm not even involved with. So Kenya, I hope you get that together. Let's see, what do I want to talk about? What else do I want to talk about? And then he didn't even. And that's another thing. He didn't even show up to the event that Kenya threw for him for his birthday, and he said that he decided to go to California to visit his sister for his birthday. Which I mean, I guess you could do if that's what you wanted to do for your birthday, but it just seems suspicious. Just to up and leave on today. Like, did you have to? You couldn't spend your birthday with me, and then maybe visit your sister afterwards. Like, is your sister planning something for your birthday? She wasn't really clear. So, I mean, your boyfriend taking trips across the country by himself on his birthday. I mean, it's just it's just a setup for something that we don't even need to mention. We already know what that sounds like, but it's maybe it's not. We don't want to make assumptions because you know what they say about assumptions. um, but that was just kind of awkward. And then when they had the whole event, she was the only one that was kind of like without a date, and she had one of her friends as a stand-in. And so, but I mean, the event was great. She had some fun. Everybody had fun. They drove and did all the other fun stuff. So, I mean, I guess, it is what it is. They gave her some advice about, because I guess she feels like the basis of their, I guess, disgruntled relationship is the possible that, Kenya's this big personality and a lot of people know who she is, and Matt kind of, I don't know, does he feel overshadowed by that? So she kind of asked Candy and Todd, like, well, Todd, how did you feel about, when you first were getting with Candy? Candy was a part of this big, huge, this huge group. She has, all these different types of fame for her writing and music and things of this nature. So how did you sort of overcome that? And he just basically said, well, it's about, it's all about her. It's not really about me. That's her, that's her success. That's her success. Let her have that. And I feel like that's how it should be. Is usually you want to be with somebody for, that person, not necessarily who they are to the public. And I feel like once you start to let that get in between your relationship, that's how that strain becomes, because you're not really looking at them as a person, as an individual. You're looking at them as like a public entity. And that's where stuff goes wrong. So she said maybe that's what's happening with Matt and Kenya, but Matt just seems like he has something that's just not right, and it's starting to really showcase itself recently in these recent episodes of this season. So I just hope that she makes the right decision for herself and bounces out this relationship for real. Let's see, what else do I want to talk about? Oh, and this was a little awkward, just a little bit. Out of all those seasons where Mama Joyce was just riding Todd's ass the whole time, calling him all types of names in the book, saying all these different things, but now she sets up like a little what do I want to call it? Just a romantic situation for Candy and Todd with Candy's product. So she takes her over, they walk in, there's like a massage table. There's like these oils, these lubrication, these fluffy handcuffs and things. And I'm just like, this, like, for your mom to set the scene for you to have sex is just It's awkward, especially with this dynamic, because they didn't even like Todd for the longest, and all of a sudden now you're setting it up with it. It was weird. It was very strange, but I mean, I guess progress is progress. And so they in there with ice cubes, and Candy done got herself a little outfit together. I'm like, okay, but you best know how to spice up the relationship, girl. I see you. And she was like, we're gonna take things out to the bedroom, and Candy, Todd was putting stuff on her rear end and putting his face back there. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. This is beyond Bravo guidelines. We ain't supposed to be seeing all this, but I'm still watching though. But we ain't supposed to be seeing all that. We just not supposed to see it. But it's good to see that their relationship is still going, and they were worried about, because they spoke with Peter earlier, and they were kind of seeing a pattern how most people like Peter, Cynthia, Apollo, and Phaedra, and they all kind of got together around the same time, and so they were worried, like, is our relationship going to go down the tubes like theirs did, and we really hope that it doesn't. So, and I don't think it will, but again, you never know, honestly. So, shout out to Candy and Ty for being the main, only real successful relationship on this show, at least as of today. Let's see. Lastly, yeah, this is the last thing. Lastly, we could talk about this bomb threat that Phaedra had. Now, I remember them mentioning this earlier, but I didn't really understand what it was that happened, because it kind of came and went. But I guess we're going to learn more about it as the episodes goes. There was some man who came and with a grenade. Now, did they make it seem like he was attacking Phaedra personally, or was he just blowing up that building for maybe somebody else, or was it just because, like, was this a personal attack on Phaedra, or was it a personal attack on Phaedra's firm? That's I don't know. We're gonna see how that's gonna go, but of course, when you're worried, when somebody feels like they're gonna attack you in such a terrible way, you think about the kids. You think about what could have happened to me. If something happens to me, what's gonna happen to my kids? If something happens to my kids, like, how will I go on? Like, all these different things are going through Phaedra's mind. And her mom calls, and they pray for her, and then she speaks with Apollo. So Phaedra's mind is just all over the place. It's just all sporadic. She was trying to get into this positive place because Portia couldn't come with her to see Apollo because she had other business to take care of, and she was trying to get in the right mindset. But then now she's getting all this information about a bomb threat, and it's making her frantic, and it's just a hot mess. So, but I'm glad to see that she is doing okay, because as much stuff as we throw, as much shade as we throw at Phaedra for different things, we don't never want anything like that to happen to any cast member of any of these shows. So that's pretty much the episode, you guys. Make sure you guys leave your comments about what you thought about the episode and different topics that were discussed. And I will see you guys. Hopefully, I think today I'll finally get around to recording that god-awful Five Nights at Freddy's game again. I know a lot of people are familiar with it, but just bear with me. It's really, really fun, as scary as it is. So I may get to do that today. And I believe the Bad Girls Club reunion comes on tonight, which I will be watching. So stay tuned for that as well, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Like, share, subscribe.
Washington.